Heartbreaks, only the lone dum 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 you are. Wow. Roy Orbison. Sorry guys, you think I'm gonna quit my daily singing of Roy Orbison for a video? The two had to cross paths, so you had to hear that. Sorry guys, it's rude to be on your phone, isn't it? In the company of people, but I'm trying to get to something. Here it is. We're good now. Roy Orbison has been sung. This video, I was gonna take a break. I mentioned it in yesterday's video, but I still feel like I need to take a break. Daily videos, oh, it's really getting to me. But I enjoy it. I'm not complaining. Am I complaining? I don't know. But this video, inspired by another beautiful comment, that Ramana Maharshi believed in solipsism. It's called Eka-Jiva-Vada. That's what I want to talk about. And I wanted to do this yesterday. Go for a walk. Get out of this safe, comfortable room. Go out and talk, which I'll be doing for the remainder of this video. But before I get into that, I just want to reply to these zingers. You'll see them there. I call them zingers, negative comments, whatever you want to call it. And I've said this many times. I love this kind of roasting because I don't take any of this seriously. And if I'm so blessed, if my channel grows with more and more subscribers, I'm going to get more and more zingers. And I love them. Seriously, I'm not being sarcastic. It brings a bit of spice and I enjoy it. Here's the first one. Spirituality is all about a calm mind. If anyone tells you don't do this, don't do that, then they know nothing about spirituality. Of course, they're referring to me. My videos are always don't do this, don't do that. So they're saying I know nothing about spirituality, and that honestly is a compliment. I do not know anything about spirituality. I don't want to be boxed into a concept, baby. Any concept about this world or spiritual concepts, exactly, I don't want to know. I just push record and start talking about a passion I love. I just love talking about this. And I'm no teacher and I'm no enlightened being. I'm just someone that enjoys this. And if you like it, I'm very happy. Second zinger from this person. I tried all gurus and learned so much, but the real transformation came after I watched How to Talk Australian on YouTube. Obviously, again, a zinger. This person has learnt so much from gurus, but they really learnt the most listening to this Australian person talk. Again, another zinger, but that genuinely made me laugh. That's why I love this. It's funny. If I was to take myself serious or this teaching serious, I would be very serious and upset. But we're here to have a bit of fun. And I just want to remind you guys of one thing. Everything we do, we love doing. Why do I make these videos? I love it. It gives me joy. Why do some of you watch it? Because maybe you're learning something, or maybe you're watching it for entertainment. You watch it because you love it. Why do haters watch? I know for certain I've got at least one or two haters. I won't tell you why I know that. But why do they watch? Because they love to hate. See what I'm saying? It's all love. That's why it's good. That's why if you love watching, I'm so happy. If you love watching to hate me, I'm so happy. You're doing what you love. You love to love, you love to hate. It's all fun, it's all good. And I enjoy it. So seriously, keep the zingers coming. I love a good roasting. I'm laughing as much as you guys. So I just thought I'd put that out there. But for the remainder of this video, let's get out of this safe, comfortable room. Let's go for a walk outdoors. It's not raining today. So I'll see you shortly. In a nice, out of a safe, comfortable room, into some nature. So let's go. Welcome back, guys. I'm out of that safe, comfortable room, going on a stroll in nature, in Australia. And you're not here to hear about the stroll. You're here to hear about, was Ramana Maharshi a solipsist? He had a doctrine, or he talked about a doctrine, occasionally, which was called Eka-Jiva-Vada. That's basically the doctrine that there is only one jiva, one person, and when they wake up, all of this will vanish. Sound familiar? Sound like solipsism? Well, it is. Now, some people say there's two types of solipsism. The one is me, this egoic self, Simon, is dreaming up all of this. I'm the only character. Only my mind is certain to exist. All of this is a fabrication of my mind. There's also something called absolute solipsism, which is basically, yes, all these are dream characters. Simon's a dream character too. But me, the true self, is dreaming up all of this. I am the source of all this. Now, this can sound very similar to Advaita Vedanta. There is the one self appearing as all this. But when you say there is only one person, one jiva, what does that conjure up in you? Come on, seriously. No matter how much you're into spiritual practice, I've been into it for over 11 years. When I hear the teaching of there's only one self, one jiva, one person, you know what that kind of gives me the feeling of? This is all a dream. Just like the dreams we have at night, where when I wake up, all of this is going to vanish. What it does to you, well, what it does to me personally is you start looking at this reality and think all the suffering, all the misery, all the injustice doesn't really matter. It's all not really happening, it's imagined. All these other people in pain and suffering, they have no internal experience. That's just my perception of them, that they're in suffering. So why help them? It also gives you the feeling of, oh, I'm the only person, am I? Well, all of these great teachings from science, from spirituality, I came up with it. They're a product of my mind. What I'm getting at, guys, whether you believe in solipsism as the person or the absolute level, it gives you that feeling of, it can give you that feeling of, this is all a dream, why do the right thing? This is all imagined anyway, why help anyone? They're not in suffering. This is not true. This is not traditional Advaita Vedanta, by the way. Traditional Advaita Vedanta, in the Bhagavad Gita, if you go to chapter 13, verses 13 to 20, this will sum up Brahman for you. They talk about Brahman. There is one undivided source to reality, Brahman. It's an impersonal intelligence. In chapter 13, verse 13, it says, Brahman's hands, feet, eyes and ears are everywhere. But Brahman is devoid of senses. In other words, Brahman is the impersonal consciousness running through all bodies and minds, using all of our bodies and minds, 8 billion of us, to experience this reality. Think of it like electricity running through your house. Brahman is like electricity, powering up all your appliances. And what are you? Tat Twamasi, you're Brahman. You are that impersonal intelligence running through all reality. Sri Ramakrishna was once asked, sum up spirituality in one sentence. Pretty smart disciple, because he didn't want to hear all these lectures, all the Upanishads, all these scriptures. He said, just sum it up for me in one sentence. You know what Sri Ramakrishna said? He said, okay, I'll sum it up. Brahman Satya, Jagat Mithya, assimilate this truth. If you can get that, you're enlightened. Brahman is real, the world is an appearance, but what is it an appearance of? Brahman. That's like saying water is real, whirlpools and waves are an appearance. Assimilate this truth. Because when we hear the word appearance, when we hear the world's a dream, again, we're going to think, we think of the dreams we have at night, that it's all made up, they're not conscious on their end, they're not really in suffering. It's not like that at all. This reality is Brahman appearing separate. Brahman is truth, this reality is truth. It's just not appearing in accordance with truth, you can say. And that's a big pitfall. Brahman is that which enables all of these beliefs about reality to appear. Believe you're a separate person in a separate world? That's a belief. Powered by what? Brahman. Believe this is a product of your own mind? You're a solipsist? What is powering that up? Brahman. And I honestly think Ramana Maharshi did not believe in any concept he talked about. He realized his true self. Ramana Maharshi would adjust his teaching depending on the student. That's why there's a book, the Upadesa Saram, where Ramana Maharshi goes over 4 practices for the spiritual seeker, to ripen the mind for self-realization. What are those practices? Jnana yoga, self-inquiry, as we all know. Karma yoga, the yoga of action. Bhakti yoga, the yoga of devotion. And Raja yoga, the yoga of meditation. If that sounds familiar, well, it is. It should. That is from where? Bhagavad Gita. The 4 practices for inner peace, to prepare and ripen the mind. So what I'm saying is, if Ramana Maharshi taught this Eka-Jiva-Vada doctrine, he would have taught it to a certain type of disciple at a certain moment in time. Some disciples, for the ripe disciple, he taught self-inquiry, abide in your true self, that's all you need to do. Others he taught devotion, devote, surrender to a higher power. Others he would have Eka-Jiva-Vada, you're the only entity in existence. Why would he do that? I'm guessing he would have done that because if you're heavily attached to this world, if you think it's real, it's better to view it as a dream. That will make you unattached to it. That's the only reason I'm thinking he would have taught that doctrine to this particular disciple. If you want to detach and be dispassionate for this reality, it's best to view it as a dream. But the trap you fall into is solipsism and thinking, I know I'm real, I know I'm conscious, how do I know these other people are conscious? And that is the slippery slope you can fall down into and then start thinking, why love these other people? They're just figments of my imagination anyway. They're not really in suffering, why help? This is why this solipsism teaching is very dangerous. You can't win. If you believe it to be true, you're going to have the tendency to discard the world and all experience. Or if you say to people, this is the highest teaching, you're not there yet, they're going to feel like, what? You don't think I'm good enough to understand this yet? And then they're going to fall into a belief about this. You know, you could tell people, look, do what you're doing, but you'll eventually get to this higher teaching of Eka-Jiva-Vada. They're going to feel like, what, you think I'm not smart enough? It's going to fuel their ego again. So all I'm saying with this teaching, guys, is you can't win. If you truly believe in this teaching of solipsism, whether relative solipsism or absolute, you're going to fall into this trap of, look, I know I'm real. How do I know other people are real? You may have the tendency not to show love and compassion towards them. Because why? They're just a dream character anyway. Why help? Why love? You're also going to feel above others. You're going to have this subtle feeling of, look, I know I exist. Everything I think is true. It just strengthens the ego. And if you tell people, look, this is the ultimate understanding, Eka-Jiva-Vada, absolute solipsism, much like Leo Guru was doing in his videos, you know what that's going to do to people? They're going to think, what, you don't think I'm smart enough to understand this? And they might be very eager to believe this. Look, solipsism is very destructive. That's all I'm going to say. It has no use in any non-dual teaching. Also, another thing it will do, it'll probably turn you into a neo-Advaitin. It goes straight to there's just this, there is nothing but this, all of this is happening in boundless awareness, all these spiritual traditions, all this suffering, all this anger and hate I feel in my heart, all happening in boundless awareness. It's discarding all these teachings, all the suffering, all the pain, all the misery, and saying it's all happening in boundless awareness. It's not going to help you. It's a destructive teaching, and I want to remind you, this is not a teaching in traditional Advaita Vedanta. They don't believe in absolute solipsism. They believe that Brahman is the absolute. Brahman is beyond all concepts, beyond all language. It is that which is powering all of this up. And the teachings of non-duality, what they're designed to do is lead you on a path back home, to the place you never left, but they need to do this gradually. How do they do this? They start off with the teachings of Shrishti Drishti Vada. What is that? That creation came first, and then perception came later. That's the first one. That's our common sense view. The world appeared first, we came later. Then they slowly lead you into Drishti-Shrishti-Vada, which is, this reality is mind only. In the beginning there was consciousness, and then a world appeared out of consciousness. The final teaching is Advaita-Vedanta, no creation. There is only Brahman, with the power of Maya appearing like this. There's only ever been Brahman, is Brahman, will ever be Brahman. Advaita-Vedanta, non-origin, non-creation. But you can't go straight into Advaita-Vedanta. You need to be slowly led through these teachings. Going back to the ocean example, how would these teachings work? The original teaching would say, there's the ocean and there's separate whirlpools and waves and ripples in the ocean, separate. That would be Shrishti-Drishti-Vada. Then the teaching goes into all of these whirlpools, waves, ripples and bubbles are an appearance in the water. They're not separate, but they appear in water. This would be Drishti-Shrishti-Vada. The final teaching is from the point of view of water itself. What whirlpools, what waves, what ripples, what bubbles? It's only ever been water, is water, will ever be water. But you can't go straight to that. You need to be given a worldview, be comfortable with that worldview, then deconstruct the worldview, given another worldview, deconstruct, then the final teaching, Advaita-Vedanta, non-creation. There is only Brahman here. There only ever was, is, will ever, or ever will be. That's what it's all leading to. And this whole Eka-Jiva-Vada teaching is just another belief. Ramana Maharshi would never have truly believed this. He would have used it as a teaching method. Nothing good can come from solipsism. I'm sorry. Or if it does, here's the only way it can. If you think all of this is a product of your mind and it gives you more love and compassion, that's the only thing it can do. If you think all of this is a product of your mind, I'm a product of your mind, all you can do is look at me, look at this reality and love it. We're all products of your mind, so why don't you love us? Why don't you help us? Also remember, if you mistreat us, these characters in your mind, we're going to come after you. Or the cops are going to come after you and put you in the dream prison. So no matter how you look at this, love is always the answer. Whatever you believe about this reality, you need to love it. That's all I'm saying. And that's all that all these spiritual traditions are saying. Love is always the answer. And look, as always, I'm not here to fully try to convince you of what Ramana Maharshi taught or didn't teach. But all I'm saying is, I don't think he would have believed in this one Jiva theory. It's a theory. Everything's a theory. The only thing you know for certain is, you know you exist. And from that existence, all your thoughts and feelings about this reality appear. Solipsistic thoughts, the world appeared first and I came later thoughts, religious thoughts, non-dual thoughts. It's all thoughts. You're that which is powering up all of this. And I know Ramana Maharshi would have known that. Of course he'd know that. He was enlightened. So, I hope this video helps, guys. It was good to get out of that safe, comfortable room and go for a walk. I'll have to do it more often. But just to summarize, Eka-Jiva-Vada is basically a teaching of solipsism, absolute solipsism. That there is the one Jiva, one self, that when they wake up, all this will vanish, all this was a dream. Much like the dreams we have at night. And just to stress again, Advaita Vedanta is not saying this. They're not saying there is the one self. They're not talking about solipsism. They're saying there is the one source, Brahman, appearing as all this. Brahman is beyond all concepts. Yet paradoxically, the fabric all concepts are made from. Why would Brahman limit itself to, I'm a lonely character in an unconscious world that appears conscious? A better way to look at this is how Rupert Spira summed it up. There isn't one world with 8 billion conscious entities. There is the one consciousness experiencing 8 billion worlds. This is kind of a beautiful balance between the two views. Because no doubt, Simon, me, only I can experience Simon's world. I'm in my own dream in a sense. But you are also in your own dream. So are 8 billion of us. So another way to look at this is, we're just 8 billion dreams interacting. We're crossing paths. I'm a character in your dream. You're a character in mine. I'm conscious. I have my own inner experience. So do you. And if I'm so blessed to wake up and become enlightened in this life, does that mean you're going to become enlightened? No. There is the one source appearing through all bodies and minds. If my ego becomes enlightened, your ego might still be in ignorance. Or if you become enlightened before me, your ego is enlightened, mine's still in ignorance. It's like there is the one sun in the sky shining on 8 billion buckets. Those buckets are our bodies and minds. The one sun reflected in 8 billion buckets. Each bucket has different purity levels in the water. Some have a lot of dirt, others have a little bit of dirt. The enlightened have no dirt. So that's the way to view it. There is the one undivided source appearing as all this. I'm a character in your dream, you're a character in my dream, but I have my own internal experience, so do you. And why is that? Because there is only the one source, the one self, appearing through all bodies and minds. And again, just to end this video, what should you do with that information? See other people as another version of you and love them. They're a mirror to you. Show them love, understanding, patience, compassion, and you can't go wrong. That is the best way to view this reality. If you want to be a solipsist, fair enough, but again, you know what the problem's going to be? I've found, I can see it happening. If I was a solipsist, I'm the only one that exists. All these ideas, all these great inventions, all these great spiritual truths are coming from my mind. I have put myself in ignorance to wake myself up. All these other people are dream characters. They're not conscious on their end. If they're in suffering and misery, why help? They're not real anyway. So you can breed those feelings. Whereas non-duality, correctly understood, is there is the one source appearing separate. I'm a character in your dream, you're a character in mine, but we're just dreams. That's true, but we're also dreams that are crossing paths. It's true, we're all not seeing the same world. If you were with me on this walk through this park, of course we're not seeing the same park. We're looking at it from different angles, have different thoughts and feelings, feeling different things. You might feel colder than I am, I might feel warmer. Yes, we're all having a personal subjective experience, but like I said, just think of it like we're just dream characters in our own dream crossing paths. We're like worlds colliding. One consciousness experiencing 8 billion worlds. And pure consciousness has the beautiful experience of waking up. Pure consciousness will become enlightened through my body and mind, your body and mind, 8 billion bodies and minds. Why would Brahman limit itself to just being the only conscious person in existence? If you get where I'm going with that. Now I feel like I'm starting to ramble. I'll end the video there. But thanks again, guys, for watching. Thanks for joining me on this journey. And I'll see you beautiful people in the next one. Take care.